when there is sirens of a missile attack, all the civilians are running to get shelter, and you are pretty much the only stupid guy that's running out to your car and driving to the scene under very big danger. My name is Yehudah Sabiner. Originally, I am from Arno of Jerusalem, and today I live in Bnei Brak.
Can I ask you how you've been involved in the war since October 7th as a medical professional?
So I belong to a special unit of search and rescue of the IDF. It's very known for the delegations to Miami and to Turkey after disasters that been there. And Simchat Torah morning, I got a phone call from my direct commander that I should go right away to the south. The first couple of weeks of the war, we were operating on the south on the cities that were under attacks of thousands of missiles. Obviously, in the first day, we were pretty much the only team of doctors, commanders, engineers that came to any place, any scene of rocket falling. And we had to deal with some very bad, severe injured civilians. In the second day of the war, I got a phone call from my one of the attendings in the hospital that I work in. That very good friend of ours, doctor from my department, were killed in next to Gaza. It got me shocked. I mean, until then, I just was working, very professionally, and I felt, it will not come to me. But when the death became very, very personal, and this doctor was very close with me, Dr. Yair, special and talented doctor, extraordinary person. And since then, everything changed. Everything became very personal, very scary. But you still know that you have a mission and you're doing it the best you can. A couple of weeks after the beginning of the war, I got borrowed to a commando unit on combat background. And we were operating me as a doctor for very special unit of very good and special people.
During your rescue mission of working in all the cities in the south.
Search and rescue mission?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As a doctor, were you ever treating people under fire?
Of course.
How was that experience of treating people so it's not only their life is in danger, but your life is also in danger? Right.
So it's really not intuitive, that when there is sirens of a missile attack, all the civilians are running to get shelter, and you are pretty much the only stupid guy that's running out to your car and driving to the scene under very big danger. There was rockets falling next to us. One of the scenes that I remember treating multi-casualty scene with a couple of bad, severe civilians. Without a shelter, it got us under another missile attack, and we had to decide if we're going to get shelter or we're staying to treat patients, the wounded civilians, and we stayed there. Me and all the rest of our team under danger. But this was our mission, to save other lives, and it was not unique, as an army. I remember one of the scenes. There was plenty places, specifically in Ashkelon, that rockets fell on the same time. So when we got to one of the wounded elderly woman there, it took a lot of time until the first ambulance came. And for my surprise, the first ambulance was with volunteers that I know from Bnei Brak, not living in the south. There are people with white beards. Obviously, they have probably grandsons and granddaughters, but they came, as part of the arvut, of the solidarity of all the different parts of the nation. They were there to give help to the fellows.
Can I ask you about your faith, your emunah? Obviously, it's a very core Jewish value to believe in God even when things are pretty disastrous around you. So how did How did that work for you in your experience, treating people under fire, losing a friend, being very close to death and tragedy around you?
A week after the terrible disaster massacre that occurred in the kibbutzim, my unit got also the mission to go for search and rescue missions inside the kibbutzim. So I got familiar from very close with some of the most terrible errors that happened in the world. So obviously when I went with my soldiers to protect them during combat, I had it in the front of my eyes as a reminder, as a life reminder, how necessarily is it and how important is it. So I had my moments, especially inside combat, that we were under circumstances of danger, of loss. I find myself praying, singing Emunah, believe songs quietly, but I didn't have other things to do besides getting strong with my faith in God. I got the blessing of my rabbi. Of course, it encouraged me, that things going to turn for good. And the most important part, that you believe that you're doing a good thing, that you are there for your brothers and sisters inside Israel and also abroad. Because obviously, if we are here, we have our own self-country. This is also kind of a guarantee to all of our brothers and sisters in the world, that they can be sure that we're going to be there for them and they have a place where to come when things going bad.
They had a study in a newspaper I saw in Israel that asked different people if their faith had increased since the war or decreased since the war or kind of stayed the same. I don't remember the specific number, but I think it was around 30-something% of people in Israel who said actually since October 7th, their faith increased. Did you see from the people you worked closely with, your soldiers, your units, an increase in faith or anything like that since the war started?
So I had a couple moments. One of them was just an hour before we went inside the combat, standing on the border, very nervous. It's probably the most delegated times in the life of a warrior before you're going inside the war. After you said goodbye to my wife, and after I said goodbye to my kids, and after I gave her the phone numbers in case that something happening, that those friends gonna help her. You are very, that you're going with open eyes to the situation, and the risks that you're taking for the others, and it's nerve-wracking. And it was a little bit before nighttime. After the Shkia came to me some probably unreligious soldier with long blonde hair, and he asked me if I have a tefillin. And I took out from my backpack my tefillin, and I gave it to him, and I saw that he doesn't know how to put it on himself. I asked him, is it for you the first time? And he said, yes. I said, even not in the bar mitzvah? I said, yes. So I put him the tefillin after the Shkia, but it was, it was very moving to see a Jewish soldier just a second before he's going inside a war, getting reconnected to the values that probably his grandfather was fighting for during the Holocaust or before the Holocaust. It was very moving, and I felt very privileged to be part of it.
You mentioned right before going into combat, you said goodbye to your wife and your children and kind of sent them these emergency numbers in case anything happened. What is it like as a father, having a family and being in combat, having to tell your wife and children that you're going to fight and the risk that you're exposing yourself to?
It's not easy. I mean, we're not doing it because we have the privilege to decide if we're doing it. We're doing it because we understand that this is the perfect example for no choice war. And it's scary to leave your family and kids, but you know that you have to do it, and everybody does it for the good of the rest of the nation. It's probably harder to the wife and kids that the father went, because during war we are very focused on war, and you know that what you're doing, and and each moment that you are safe or not safe. But for the wife and for the beloved ones that standing behind the scenes and in the back, they go to sleep, they eating, and they wake up with the terrible feelings of worry and doubt, and unpleasant feelings about the husband or the wife that are now under fire and in combat. So I think really the big heroes are, especially in my case, is my wife and kids. And when I asked her for permission to go, she also didn't stop me. She said, I can go, but I have to promise her that I'm coming back.
A lot of people speculate about our enemy, who attacked on October 7th, that they thought the Jewish people were weak, we were separated, we weren't strong. What do you think? I mean, it's hard to guess, but what do you think the enemy got wrong about the Jewish people before the war that you think came out since October 7th?
First of all, that in the end of the day, we are a nation that under the right circumstances, we're going to fight until the end for our fellow brother or sisters. It doesn't matter how much disagreements we had a minute before. When our brother or sister is being under risk, we're going to do everything to help this brother or sister. They misjudged us also that we are a very resilient nation. They are not the first and not the last enemy that's trying to deal with us for thousands of years. Doesn't matter how bad we got hurted. But in the right moment, we knew how to collect ourselves from zero and to be strong for us and for the tradition and for our kids, and to go back and to stay here forever.
You as an individual person, what were some of the biggest character, like midot, things that you learned since the war, since your experience fighting in the war under very intense circumstances?
There was no choice to succeed in my mission and in my part in the war without the rest of the team. So you learn how to work in a team. There are very different people that coming from different backgrounds. Some of them are businessmen and wealthy people that have their own businesses. One of our people had a private winery. Other people were startup CEOs, and everybody left the businesses and came. So it's not only that they gave the nation an open check about their lives, they also gave an open check about their businesses and the money of the family. Me as a doctor, and we as a profession, if we can give those special people the guarantee that we can make anything possible to make sure that they have the best chance to come in one part. So I felt that this is our mission.
You mentioned everyone who you interacted with came from different backgrounds. Obviously, before the war, it was easy for people to feel like I'm Orthodox and this is my style. I'm not Orthodox and this is my style. Haredi, secular. Sometimes we don't always see eye to eye.
So under extreme circumstances, we're getting the reminder that all of the parts of this nation, doesn't matter their background, everybody does the best that they can, and it's a great reminder for us to treasure every fellow and to love every fellow and to help every fellow, and not to judge anybody just because how he looks like or because you think he's from a different background. Everybody are very special in their place.